Hey, friends. Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. Come join me, your host, Nicole, for some hope-filled conversations about heartfelt entertainment that makes your heart swing. Hey, Hallmarkies. Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. I'm your host, Nicole, and today I'm joined by my friend, Kimberly, to chat about the Hallmark Channel 2023 Countdown to Christmas movie, Never Been Kissed, starring Tyler Hynes, Janelle Parrish, and Pascal Lamoth Kipnis. It was written by Joy Botkin and directed by Jeff Beasley. Best friends Naomi and Liz return home for the holidays and simultaneously enter a love triangle when they both reconnect with their high school crush, Chris Silver. Welcome back to the podcast, Kimberly. I'm excited to chat with you about this movie today.
Thanks. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. And just a disclaimer for me and maybe you too, Kimberly. This is nothing against the cast, Tyler, Janelle, Pascal, nothing against Joy or Jeff, but this movie unfortunately did not live up to my expectations like I wanted it to.
Yeah, I thought it could have been a little more. I guess I was expecting just a little more depth.
Yeah.
But I did find extremely good things in it. So
Yeah.
I very mixed reviews on the movie itself. I think the more I watch it, the more I pick up that I like. So
Yeah. Yes. I picked up a couple things in my second watch when I was taking notes that I enjoyed. I mean, I didn't enjoy every single scene, but there were a couple thrown in there that I liked.
same. I
Yeah.
was the same way. I think I watched it
Yes.
3 or 4 times now, and
Yes.
you know, you catch on to little extra
Yeah.
things that you didn't catch
Yes.
the first time. So
Yes. Yeah. Like I mentioned, it didn't live up to my expectations like I wanted it to. It wasn't as strong of a script, but I loved the cast. The whole ensemble was just great. And I thought it had some Christmas feels. I want a little bit more than what we got, but I'll take what we can get.
yeah, I thought it would have more Christmas feels too. I did
Yes.
love like the chemistry between the cast.
Mhm.
I thought that was a really well
Yeah.
played cast.
Yes. I actually would like to see a movie or another movie with Pascal and Janelle together
Yeah,
as
I think
friends.
yes. Um that's what I liked, I think, a lot was the
Yeah.
essentially the friend chemistry between the two
Mhm.
characters.
Mhm.
Um I don't know, I could see them playing in like a Hallmark version of like Mean Girls or something.
Yeah, or maybe a mystery movie. I think I've seen that thrown around.
Yeah, you know what? They would both be extremely good in a mystery movie
Yes.
together too.
Yeah, I think so too. One thing that I wanted to see more of in this movie was Tyler. I feel like we didn't get enough of him in this movie.
Well, being a huge fan myself, I agree. Where
There
was he
weren't
at? Not
there
a lot
weren't
of
enough
scenes.
scenes with Tyler.
I agree.
Oh my goodness. And I think the biggest problem I had with the movie is the immaturity in some parts.
Um, yeah, I think maybe that was partly the reality is they were taking you back to almost like the two
Mhm.
characters were back in high school again.
Yeah.
And I think that was supposed to be the idea of it is
Yeah,
to
yeah.
make it immature. So I don't know. I wasn't completely thrown off by that, you know, the immaturity, the lacking of
Mhm.
immaturity, but I can see where you're coming from and how
Yeah.
you could feel that way. Cause I know like
Yeah.
some people really liked the movie and some people
Mhm.
didn't. And that was one of the things that threw people off.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't in every single scene, but there were a couple moments that I was like, "Okay, this might be a step too far." But I think maybe the problem is it wasn't written as well as it could have been, if that makes sense.
And do we think that maybe because there was everything going on with SAG-AFTRA, do we think that maybe it was, you know, the kind of like the first movie out of the box, you know?
It could have been, yeah. I mean, it could have been written a little bit quicker than others because they were
Hmm.
trying to have it finished and then filmed before the strike, which is
And
understandable.
that's what I was thinking too. Maybe that's it.
Hmm.
But I mean, like you said, you either liked it or you didn't, or
Yeah,
you're kind of like iffy about it.
yeah. Do we want to get into our holiday highlights, which are the key moments or some moments that we enjoyed in the movie?
Yes.
You want to go first with some of
Sure.
yours?
So I found it absolutely hilarious.
Hmm.
The fish scene, and I know a lot of people did, where
Oh,
he was lying about essentially being vegan and why was it such a secret that you're
yeah,
vegan and but then the part where he ate the fish, he was so
yeah. He was
um
like,
really overwhelmed with the taste of the fish and really
he's
enjoying
like,
it. Yeah.
oh,
And I think the facial expressions was like the most hilarious part. I could watch that over and over again. I think it's so funny.
Tyler's facial expression. He did nail that. I'm not gonna lie.
I think that's probably one of the highlights of the whole film for
Yeah.
me.
Yes. I thought another funny or kind of funny moment was right at the beginning in the first scene when Naomi and Liz are at their apartment, or they're at Naomi's apartment, and they're talking about the guys on the dating app. And Naomi's like, "What do we think of him? Of Noel Lover 12? I think his choice of profile name suggests questionable decision making skills. Maybe he just really loves Christmas."
Oh my gosh. Yes, I did enjoy that. And did you also like when they did the flashback of the high school photos? And that was a real picture of
Oh,
Tyler when he was younger.
yeah. I think I've seen that photo before, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool how they threw that in
Yes.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved the element that they put in with that. And I also thought it was funny in that scene when Liz says, "Mr. Lover loves laughing." That's vague. Going out and staying in. Also vague. Excessive use of emojis. And would like to settle down someday.
Um, I don't think it was like an actual quote, but when they both showed up in the same Christmas sweater and
Oh,
they
yeah.
decided to go out, and when they saw him with the pitchers of beer, they were hiding the Christmas
Mm-hmm.
sweaters. And
Yep.
I can just have imagined like how hot it was in there with the Christmas sweater on and the like it looked like a wool coat. There's
Yeah, it
no
did.
way.
Yeah. And when everyone left, they what immediately take off the coats and they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh, it's so hot in here."
it was a been there, done that moment, I think.
I think I've done that before too. Yeah.
Those Christmas sweaters are really,
Yes.
really, really warm.
Yeah. I have a couple, not ugly Christmas sweaters, just like solid color
Hmm.
sweaters that I wear around the holidays.
Yeah.
Do you have an ugly Christmas sweater?
I have a couple ugly Christmas sweaters. I don't know if I would necessarily call it an ugly Christmas
Yeah,
sweater because it
yeah.
has Elf on it, like Will Ferrell when he played Elf. I don't
Yeah.
think that's ugly at
No,
all.
no, no, no. I
And
wasn't.
and I had a National Lampoon Christmas sweater too, and Christmas Vacation. How can you think a Christmas Vacation sweater is
No,
ugly?
no, no, not at all. No, that's not what
Are you
I was.
meaning the kind with like the garlands and like maybe
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
funky snowman?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
I used to have a couple of weird ones. I actually had one that was a dress and it was a literal garland Christmas tree. I think I have a picture of me somewhere wearing that dress.
Oh my gosh.
A couple years back, I'll have to share it. Maybe for your
Yes.
podcast. I definitely got a kick out of wearing it. It had actual like ornaments on it.
Oh my gosh. That is crazy. I actually would like to see that.
I will show you.
Oh my gosh. I also like in that scene when they are talking about It's a Wonderful Life, which is Liz's favorite movie, and if they would do anything differently if they had a redo in life. I thought that
Yeah,
was a nice moment.
I think so too. And that is one of the greatest movies, I think. And I like how it kind of got tied into a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, I actually have never seen that movie, but I
Oh,
need to
you
watch
must
it.
see it. It is a must see. Like when it originally came out, it was in black and white. You can get
Yeah.
like the version in
Hmm.
color now. They're both really great. I've seen them both. The black and white version is so classic. And there's just something about the movie that like brings you back to watching it. Really kind of brings to life like
Hmm.
like if you didn't have what you have now because you wished it away,
Hmm.
would you miss what you have?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just the meaning behind the movie is great. So
Yeah.
makes you just kind of thankful for everything around you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. I'll have to watch it. And question for the episode, if you had a redo in life, would you do anything differently?
I probably would have went to college a little bit sooner and started off doing radio like I was doing
Hmm.
before. I kind of skipped around and got a little off track.
Hmm.
And kind of staying in one place for too long.
Hmm.
So I guess that's probably something I would do different. I would go back and kind of redo that part, but
Hmm.
there's no going back. So we're gonna
Yeah.
just push forward.
Yeah. That's a good answer. Yeah, I like that. I think for me, if I could do anything over, it would be changing schools earlier than I did before 10th grade. So I went to an all girls school from kindergarten to ninth grade. And then I moved to a co ed school for 10th, 11th, and 12th. So what I'm trying to say is if I could have changed schools from the all girls school to the co ed school earlier, I would have. But there's no going back. And I enjoyed the time that I had at both. And I'm grateful for all the memories.
And it probably all happened for a reason. I mean, look at you now. You're thriving in the podcast world.
Oh, thank you. I'm doing my best. We get Naomi and Liz at the pitch meeting for their company, Best Pals, which they are co founders of. And it is the premier app for finding meaningful friendships. And they want to expand the brand by including events, meetups, affinity groups, and even dating. But the firm wants to hold off on making a decision until the new year. And then they start talking about their moms when the woman from the firm leaves, and Naomi decides to start setting boundaries between her and her mom. And then, being a fan of the show, I loved the Gilmore Girls reference from Liz.
Same. I used to watch that show all the time. It was one of my
Yes,
very favorites. It's like such a fall show.
yes, such a fall show. Oh, I love Gilmore Girls. I have all 7 seasons on DVD.
Same.
We also find out in that scene that Liz doesn't get along that well with her mom, which is disappointing.
Yeah, I thought maybe that was probably one of the saddest scenes.
Yeah,
I mean, imagine that in real life. But
yeah.
it's true. I mean, maybe it brings to reality like other
Mm-hmm.
people. Maybe that's
Mm-hmm.
just, how it is for some people. So
Yeah,
I think they probably had to throw a little negative in there too.
yeah, that's very true. Yeah. When they are at the airport talking about Chris, and Liz says, maybe this trip will have a silver lining. And then Naomi says, I heard he lives in Chicago now, so chances of running into him are zero. And then it immediately cuts to them running into Chris.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I found that little pun there and then
Yeah.
jumping into the scene it
Mm-hmm.
was a good moment.
Yes. Yep. Okay. What did you think of the scene when they see Chris for the first time in the store
It was very fangirly.
or the bakery? I think is where they
Like
were.
It was the bakery. It was very fangirly. I actually kind of liked it.
Yep.
I found it hilarious because I think that's probably like for most people in reality, in real life situation, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it was a little immature in a couple parts, but I mean, when you have a guy like Tyler right in front of you, I mean, who wouldn't fangirl?
Yeah, it was definitely a fangirl moment for sure.
Not in an
Uh,
awkward way. Not in an
no,
awkward way.
no, you could almost put yourself in that moment.
I mean, I had crushes in high school. And okay, funny story going to high school crushes since we are going back to high school in this movie. One of the guys that I had a crush on, I think it was my junior year. And we're still friends, but it didn't really work out. I had a small graduating class. There were only 28 people, including
Wow.
myself. And we had the same math class together. And there was one particular day where he said something that I just thought was hilarious and nobody else laughed. And I just was like,
Was your face bright red?
I almost wanted to sink down into my seat because I was so embarrassed.
That's that's just how it goes.
No, okay. And then another funny time was during a basketball game, and I think I've told you this, but I was on the cheerleading squad,
Yes.
10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And 10th and 11th grade, I did both football and basketball. Senior year, we didn't cheer for basketball. But junior year, there was one particular game, and the same guy that I just mentioned from the other moment that I had a crush on, he was on the basketball team. And he was on the court for a certain amount of time this game. And then he got taken out of the game for a break, I guess. And I must have
Oh no.
not paid attention that he was not on the court at this particular time. And I was like, go so and so. And then my other fellow cheerleaders were like, Nicole, he's not even on the court.
Pay attention, Nicole.
I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
oh, awkward.
Awkward moments. If nothing else, this movie helps kind of take you back to these moments. So the movie itself was not a complete like it wasn't a complete
Yeah,
fail. It was actually there was so many good highlights that kind of just reminded you of like the past.
yeah, yeah. And it's a good thing that not a whole lot of people heard that because then that would have just been embarrassment overload. Oh my
We've
gosh.
all been there at some point, Nicole. It's okay.
Those were the days. Oh my gosh. And I love how Naomi takes the donut that Liz was eating out of her hands and gives it to Chris.
As if he's going to want it
Yep.
after someone else has already eaten off of it.
Mm-hmm. And then he mentions they should all get together. And I think, they're like, okay, yeah, let's get together. And Liz's comment when they start to leave, she says, it is not fair that he didn't peak in high school.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, good moment right there. But
Yep.
also hard to believe.
Yep. One moment that I really loved was when Naomi is at home with her mom and Liz, and they're talking about all the Christmas plans for their week together. And giving a subtle hint to Hallmark with this moment because Linda mentions watching 40 Christmas movies.
You think? Hint to Hallmark?
You think hint to Hallmark? I mean, we
Come
got
on.
40 this year. Yeah.
It's a good play.
Yep.
Very good
Yes.
play.
Yep. And this is when she gives them the matching sweater.
The matching hot sweaters,
Yep.
in which they decide to wear wool coats over.
Mm-hmm. We get Naomi and Liz at the Christmas party in town, and this is when they see some of their other classmates from high school. Carly, who was voted most likely to be Miss America. Ryan, the class clown. Hey! Mindy, most
Oh my
athletic.
gosh.
Hey. Marty, life of the party. Hey!
How much did that remind you, though, of actual what it's like seeing the people that you went to high school with later on?
I actually have
Or
not
have
seen,
you seen very many people after high school?
I unfortunately have not seen a lot of my classmates in person since high school.
I think if I did, it would be just like that, though. I have one really good friend who we went to elementary school
Mm-hmm.
together, junior high, and high school together. So, um, or maybe she came in junior high and high school, but we've been friends
Mm-hmm.
for a really long time.
Oh, that's
So,
good. Yeah,
we still talk, but I
that's
think
good.
if if we would see anyone else from our high school, I think that's exactly how it would go.
Maybe. I mean, I had a good high school experience. I was pretty much friends with everyone. I got along with everyone. So, I mean, I think it would probably be like that, but not as awkward, maybe.
I think maybe they were also reminding you how awkward high school was for some people.
At some, yeah, some
You know,
points.
not for
Yeah.
all people.
Yeah.
I was one of those ones who wasn't like in the popular group, but I
Oh,
also
yeah.
wasn't in the not popular group either.
Hmm.
Was
I
kind
know
of
what you
friends with
mean. Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I guess I was kind of like that too. Like, I never classified or identified myself as popular, but I mean, I did not have friends either. Like,
right,
I got
exactly.
along with everyone.
Yeah,
And
exactly. I was the same way.
did you ever get any superlatives in high school?
Not that I can remember. What about you?
A couple, and they were like totally not expected. Like, I did not know if I was not thinking I was going to get anything, but I'm thankful that all of my friends voted for me for most school spirit, friendliest, and then most likely to succeed.
I can see all of those three things right now for you in real life. Like
Oh, thank you.
now.
Thank you.
Yeah, I never really got any superlatives. I was more of the spelling bee person. Like, hey, she's gonna be on
Yeah.
the spelling bee.
Oh, yeah.
But no, never any superlatives
Oh,
for me.
I
But
love
it's
that you
okay.
did the spelling bee. That sounds fun.
I always loved spelling and English and all of those subjects. Math was not my high point, believe it or not.
Oh, math was not my strong point either.
So, I mean, we got through it and
Yeah.
here we are.
Yep. Never got an A in math until senior year. And for some reason, that year my math class was online.
You know what, though? I found that, see, my senior year was a big struggle in high school.
Yeah.
I was having so much trouble with I think I was in, might have been in like, it was like pre-algebra or something. And I remember taking an online class.
Hmm.
We had some basically the students who were
Hmm.
doing bad at another school would have to come and take a class at the school that I went to.
Hmm.
So I was down in that. they called it people almost thought like you were bad if you were in that room, because they were like these computer
Oh my
classes to
gosh.
do math. So I ended up in there, but I did really well, like the learning method on the
Hmm.
computer instead of learning like whether it be chalkboard or any other kind of method. I felt like it
Hmm.
was easier for me to understand. I don't know, maybe it was a visual thing.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm a visual person, so
Hmm.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. And then after high school, I still struggled with math when I got to college. And you had that one professor that finally you got the one professor who was able to
Yeah.
go over everything step by step with
Hmm.
you.
Yeah.
And you finally understood it after all of
Yes.
these years.
Yeah. Yes. And going back to the movie, I love the little backstory we got with Chris when they are talking about what they've been up to since high school. We hear that Chris was in the Marines and it was expected of him since his dad was also in the Marines. And he was deployed 3 times, then came back to the States and studied English at Loyola. And then he went back to the high school and he teaches English now.
And I thought it was cool. They said Loyola because I'm 99% positive that's in Chicago.
I think so, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
So I was
That's
like, yay,
awesome.
Chicago.
Yeah. I've heard that's a good school.
I'm pretty sure that's where it's located.
Yeah.
I knew some people who went to Loyola, so
Yeah.
but I thought it was cool. They kind of, put a little skit in there
Yeah.
about them that his dad was in the
Mm-hmm.
Marines and just kind
Yeah.
of highlighted that a little bit
Yeah. We also hear that Naomi majored in marketing and minored in Spanish. Liz majored in computer science and minored in business. And they moved to the Bay and worked at a few tech startups. And they got their feet wet, literally.
Yes, I don't
That
know.
moment.
So punny.
That moment was hilarious. Yeah.
I liked it.
Yes. And of course, this is when Chris invites Naomi and Liz to his holiday party. And we hear he's a vegan.
I'm still laughing about that. We hear
Yeah.
he's a vegan and he's hiding it, and it just reminded me of like
Yeah.
it kind of took me back to high school. Like maybe there was that one thing you didn't want to share about yourself because it thought it would make you look uncool.
Hmm.
And it was almost like he didn't want to be uncool if he admitted that he was vegan. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with being vegan.
No, I mean, I'm not, but there's nothing wrong with it.
No, I'm not vegan either, but
Yeah.
I just found it hilarious that it was like
Yes.
this, I can't admit that I'm vegan.
Yep. The scene with Naomi, Liz, and Linda when they are talking about Chris. And, Naomi's like, do you remember Chris Silver? And she's like, how could I not? And then what was that phrase you guys used to say?
And they
Never
all
been
went, never been
Chris?
Chris. Oh my gosh.
It's the title of the movie.
Yes. I actually liked that part.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. And they used that phrase because it is what they used to call his girlfriends because he'd date a girl and then suddenly she'd be the most popular girl in school.
Because she was
And
Chris.
everyone would know who she is and want to be her best friend.
Oh my gosh. I I don't know. I liked it. I did.
Yeah, that was the kind of funny scene for me as
Mm.
well. Yeah. And okay, I just have to ask this question now. What did you think of Linda wanting to sell the house and move, and then Naomi just like completely dodging the topic by running away?
Almost like an immature moment.
Yeah, that was one that I was
Uh,
like, okay.
like sit and talk about it
Yeah.
and maybe why it's a bad idea or why
Yeah.
are we dodging this?
Yes. Yeah.
It reminded me of being immature.
Yeah.
Why are we dodging this moving question?
Yep. Yep. Chris's holiday party. What did you think of all of these scenes?
Well, uh, e- each one was unique in itself, I
Yeah.
guess.
I will say I did love the talk that Liz had with Chris about the thesis he wrote on The Great Gatsby, which is one of his favorite books. And that is because of the theme, which is you can't repeat the past no matter how badly you want a redo. And it's also one of Liz's favorites as well because of the idea of undeniable magnetism despite one's circumstances.
Yeah, I kind of liked how they kind of added,
Yeah.
this incredible,
Mm-hmm.
novel in there, but it also related back to kind of the movie,
Yeah. Yes.
it
Yeah.
kind of going back in time, and
Yeah.
it really all fit. I think that part really fit.
Yeah. I think so too. The Never Have I Ever Christmas Cookie Edition.
Oh my gosh.
Ryan awkwardly trying to get cozy with Naomi, and Naomi's like, I'm feeling, I don't know how I'm feeling right now.
That part was really funny.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
the when like there was the hesitation in taking the cookies,
Uh-huh.
talking about Chris.
Yep. Yep.
And then he kind of calls her out on it.
Yep. Yeah, he calls her out a couple minutes later
Uh-huh.
and knows that she had a crush on him. And she's like, no, I don't. And he's like, yes, you do, because your face is flushed right now.
I liked that part. I did.
Yeah. Yes. And he remembers a lot about her, which I thought was sweet.
Yeah, I think that was probably like one of the highlights,
Yeah.
like to kind of go back and think like
Yeah.
that he would remember all the things, from high
Mm-hmm.
school being such a long time ago. I don't know
Yes.
about you, but for me,
Yeah.
I've been out of high school for a really long time.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
2023, so 23 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I've been out of high school for 11. I graduated in May of 2012.
Making me feel old. Thanks, Nicole.
I am not intentionally.
This
Yeah.
movie kind of brought
Mm-hmm.
back so many memories
Yeah.
of high school, and I think maybe that was the idea.
Yeah. Naomi and Liz, I think this is when they are walking through town and they talk about Chris, and Liz thinks that Naomi should go for him. And, Naomi's like, no, you should. And Naomi says, falling for your high school crush again? It's like star-crossed lovers together at last. And then I think she also says, in response to what Liz said, we don't need to be Christ. Sure. Yeah, sure you don't.
I don't know. Oh my goodness. I have no words actually for once.
This was one moment I was just like,
Yes.
really?
Yes. I agree.
Naomi, Liz, and Linda. And this is when she actually tells them that she's selling the house and moving to Palo Alto to be close to Naomi. And, you know, Naomi's like, it's very expensive and there's lots of dangerous things there. And then mosquitoes. And Liz is like, those boundaries are going really well.
Mosquitoes. It's like the Wisconsin state bird. We have so many mosquitoes.
We have them here too, so you're not alone.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, this was another facepalm moment for me when Naomi and Liz hide from Chris in the clothing rack.
Oh my gosh.
I was just
Nope,
rolling my eyes at that.
no comment.
No comment. But I did love that we hear that Chris does a little woodworking. I thought that was nice.
Yes, to highlight what he's
Yeah.
doing now and like some of the
Yes.
things that he likes to do for fun.
Yeah. Naomi and Liz at Pretty Baked, and this is when they are working on the gingerbread house made with vegan ingredients. I thought there were a couple nice moments in this scene, and one was when Chris and Liz are talking about how she's not a romantic in the traditional sense. And she doesn't get why believing that there's only one person out there for you is considered romantic. Romantic love is not her most successful arena. She has a hard time fitting in and thinks she's hard to love. And of course, Chris doesn't think that's true.
I did like that part.
Yeah.
I've seen it even like the second or third time.
Yeah.
It's a really good moment.
Yeah. And I think that Tyler and Pascal have a great chemistry on
You know, I
screen.
thought that myself, and for a moment, for a split second, I thought maybe those two were going to be the ones
Mm-hmm.
together.
Yeah.
Just for a split second. But then I thought, well,
Yeah.
maybe not because, you know, Janelle was set to be like the big
Mm-hmm.
co-star. Like even when he was
Mm-hmm.
promoting the movie before all the strike stuff happened,
Mm-hmm.
and we all knew that it was Janelle. So then you kind of
Mm-hmm.
thought, well, you know, watching the movie, like maybe it's going to be because something completely different. Maybe he's going
Yeah.
to end up with Pascal instead.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I think it in turn ended up, you know, being how it was supposed to.
Yeah. I think so too. One moment that I really enjoyed was when Naomi is at home and Liz comes by and they're looking through the box of old things with the flower crown, the friendship bracelets, the photo books, and the letters Liz's dad sent to her.
Yeah, it was a heartwarming moment, I think.
Yeah.
Very touching
Yes.
that all of that stuff was
Yeah.
saved.
Yeah. And the senior yearbook.
Oh gosh. I don't think I have a senior yearbook, but I sure have those junior high ones.
Oh, I have a senior yearbook.
But to go back and look and wonder where all of these people are
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah. I still look at my yearbook occasionally. I haven't done it in a long time, but it's always fun to go
To just
back
go
and
back and, yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna say bring back memories of when you
Yes.
were in high school or junior
Yeah.
high.
Yes. And I was on the yearbook staff my junior and senior year. So it
Nice.
was a lot of fun to actually work on the yearbook.
And I was gonna say, was it fun? Because I
Yeah.
thought that was probably like I knew a couple of people who were on the yearbook staff, so
Yeah.
it seemed like it was a really good time.
Yes. And I got to be editor for both years, which was very humbling. Totally did not think that that was going to happen. I'm grateful that I had that opportunity and that my yearbook advisor and one of my favorite teachers gave me that opportunity.
Yeah, it sounds like a great opportunity. I'm glad you had
Yes.
that opportunity
Oh,
in
thank
school.
you. Yes, I am too. And going back to the movie again, they both get text from Chris about ice skating, and Liz, kind of under her breath, she's like, just loves the group hang.
Come on now.
That was another moment or line. I was just like, okay, maybe a little immature there.
Come on.
Grow up just a little bit.
A little tiny bit.
What's wrong with group hangs?
Nothing. Absolutely
Absolutely
nothing.
nothing. Yes.
Well, kids these days, maybe. I I don't know.
I mean,
I maybe it's not a cool thing anymore, but there's nothing wrong with it to me.
I went to senior prom in a group. I mean, nothing wrong with it.
Most of my other dances and stuff I went to was a group. There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with it. Why was it
Nope.
looked frowned upon?
I don't know. Liz at home with her mom, and they have an argument about the holiday card for Hanukkah. And Liz mentions to her mom she could have been photoshopped in and wants her to apologize for leaving her out. And Mimi, her mom, says that she leaves herself out by refusing to be part of the family. I was like, ouch.
Yeah, that moment was like a heartbreaking moment, I guess.
Yeah. What did you think about the relationship between Liz and her mom?
I thought I actually don't even know. It seemed awkward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I
Really,
thought too.
really off-standish.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if I could put it into terminology.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, you almost kind of wanted it to be closer, but
Yeah.
that's something that was kind of lacking. But
Mm-hmm.
then I think it also brought to reality. Maybe that's how it is for some,
Yeah.
and just,
Yeah. I
not
can.
everybody has that
Mm-hmm.
closeness.
Yeah, that's what I was
So
gonna say.
I think it's probably good that they highlighted that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because most of the time you see on most of the other movies, it's usually, you know, really close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think it's an important little, piece to kind of add to a movie.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't my favorite relationship. Like, I wasn't a huge fan of that relationship, but I understand for some that it could be very realistic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think it's important that Hallmark has been
Yeah.
bringing, I
Yes.
like this year, I've seen more realistic
Mm-hmm.
situations on Hallmark and
Yeah.
movies situations,
Mm-hmm.
real life stories,
Mm-hmm.
basically. And I think that's important to note that this season is different on Hallmark,
Yeah.
in the fact that they're really bringing to light other things,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that they
Yeah.
haven't before.
Yeah. And I appreciate that, even though the movie itself didn't meet my expectations like I hoped.
Right. No,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I loved the ice skating scene.
Oh my gosh. Where she's just standing there staring at him and then they do the flashback moment.
Yeah, or the like dream
Or
sequence
the
where she,
dream sequence. Yeah, that's what it was. But kind of like a flashback, like what she imagined.
yes, yep,
Dream sequence, that was the highlight.
yes. And I did like the little talk that they had before the dream sequence happened when Chris is telling Liz that he loves teaching, but still feels like he could have done more with his life. He learned from his dad. Unless you're the lead dog, the scenery never changes. And of course, Liz gets it. Her parents divorced when she was younger. Her dad remarried and moved away. As a child, she told herself that if she was good enough or successful enough or something enough, her dad would come back.
Yeah, I liked that moment too.
Yeah.
And I think there was a lot of reality in that.
Yes.
And just the quote itself, and what he was telling her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I liked that. I liked the realness of the moment.
Mm-hmm. And then Chris and Naomi go on a little skating adventure and talk about high school and why she had a crush on him. And then they actually share a kiss. And Liz's reaction, she's like, what?
I liked that moment. Um, did you also was did you think it was like immature moment or
I mean, maybe just a tinge, but I thought
uh-huh.
it was. I thought it was cute nonetheless.
No, I liked it. I was
Yeah.
gonna say it wasn't immature at all. Like I think it was real
I
life.
mean, not much, but I
Yeah.
mean, if there was any immaturity, maybe like 1%. But
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I thought it was a cute moment. Just
I
her
liked it.
reaction was priceless.
Yeah, I was gonna say that for me, it wasn't an immature moment. I think that was, yeah, a priceless
Yeah.
moment. Exactly how you put it.
Yes. I just loved that reaction. She's
Huh.
like, what?
What?
Is she kissing Christopher? We also get a scene a little bit later on with Liz at home, and she's looking at another box of old things from her house. And there's a notepad, a best summer mix CD inside, as well as the acceptance letter from Stanford.
Those mix CDs.
Oh, I made a ton of those.
I actually still have mine. I found them the other day.
I think I have a couple too, still tucked away somewhere.
I was gonna say, you know, dating myself,
Mm-hmm.
the radio was, where you had to wait till
Yeah.
your favorite song played and try to start the
Oh,
tape exactly where the song would come on.
yes.
And then, see,
And
I was kind of in between both of those things. It
yeah.
started off with a cassette, but then I also experienced the world of CDs and making mix CDs.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I experienced mixtapes and
Yep.
mix CDs.
I've never had a mixtape, but I do know what that is. I have heard of them.
Hey,
And I used to have a Walkman CD player when I
same.
was a
And would
kid.
you bring it to on the bus with you?
Um, well, I think at the time when I started going on school trips on a bus, I had an iPod.
Oh, okay.
I think my first iPod I got in sixth grade, and that was like 2006, I think. Maybe 2007. I think it was 2006. And when I had a Walkman, there were times I would go to Lowe's with my mom and my dad and my brother too. And I would literally take the Walkman with the headphones, and I would be walking around the store with the Walkman in my pocket.
Oh my gosh. I remember going on the school bus with my CDs in my backpack with my Walkman CD player. Just total flashback.
Oh. And then the times you would try to record a ringtone on your phone.
Oh my goodness. Way to bring that one up. Remember when it was cool to have a certain ringtone for everybody? Or what was it, the voice message tone when they would
Oh,
call and leave a voicemail, but there was a song before they could leave the voicemail?
oh, I think so. Yeah.
And then I was just talking about this the other day, but do you remember hit clips?
Oh my gosh.
It was the little 3 second, like they had Britney Spears and Sync, Backstreet Boys, I don't know, BB Mac, like
Yeah.
all of like the boy bands. There might
Yeah.
have been some other ones, but it literally played 3 seconds of a song and we were so excited about it. And
Yeah.
then later on came, hey, you get like when people were downloading like LimeWire and and what was the other one? LimeWire and Napster.
Napster, that's what I used.
And people were so excited that they got more than a 3 second
Yeah.
clip.
Yeah. And I think on Napster you had to pay for them, I
You did.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally illegal. I don't recommend, what we did back then. We should always pay
No,
for the music.
yeah, I never was one of those people that downloaded from LimeWire. I always used Napster if I wanted a ringtone.
Yeah, I don't think I ever used ones that I didn't pay for.
Yeah.
Not that I can think of. I just remember other people using it.
Yeah.
You had to
Yeah.
wait like what felt like 6 years for like one song.
Mm-hmm.
And now look what we can do. We can go to Apple Music and get it in a second.
Yep.
Hey, Apple, way to go.
Yes. Okay. The scene with Chris and Naomi's birthday, I believe, when they have hot chocolate and cheese. And of course, it's vegan, but the place doesn't advertise that it's vegan, so people don't hate it.
I still don't understand the vegan thing at all. Why was this looked frowned upon?
I don't know.
I mean, I have no other comments on the vegan thing besides the fact of why was it so hidden?
No. He's been vegan since leaving the forces, and it felt like something just for him. And Naomi says it's hard to go against the tide, and it's even harder to know who you want to be. And then she goes into talking about how she got to Best Pal. And I love when Chris says, I have no doubt that she needed you just as much as you needed her. I thought that was very sweet.
No, I liked that
Yeah.
the quote itself because
Yeah,
it's so
me too.
true. And that's why I think that there needs to be another movie with the two leading ladies in it,
Yes, I
playing
agree.
best friends. Come on,
Yeah.
Hallmark, get on it.
Yes. The karaoke at Bruise Brothers. And we actually, I don't think, got to see the karaoke, but Liz has a talk with Carly and Mindy. And Liz and Carly were jealous of each other. Carly, because Liz always seemed to have a clear sense of who she was, and Liz, not because Carly cheated to win Jingle Ball, but that she hosted Jingle Ball, which was the social event of the year. Why on earth would you cheat for something like that? Or at all, really?
I agree.
Yeah.
I I agree.
I mean, I won prom queen, but I didn't cheat to win. I mean, and I wasn't
It,
even expecting it. I mean, my face when they announced my name, it was beet red. I'm not even kidding. I was like, this is not happening.
those are the best ones, the unexpected wins.
I mean, I'm grateful. I'm thankful that my friends voted for me, but totally not expecting it. But yeah, I would never cheat at all, especially with something like that.
Yeah,
I
I think
mean,
it was a really stupid way to cheat. Cheating is not good, children.
if you win, you
Bad.
win. If you don't, you
You
don't. And that's
don't.
okay. I
And
mean,
then you move on.
it's not the end of the world if you don't win Jingle Ball Queen, Prom Queen. I mean,
And I think that's probably the point. Like some people expect that they're going to win these things and it's
yeah,
such a heartbreaking moment when they don't win, but
yeah.
what in all reality does it do
It's
you get
not,
out of it besides like a fake crown or just being
yeah,
named it, but
yeah.
it's
I
not
mean,
like it
it's
doesn't
a fun honor, but I mean, it's not the end of the world if you don't get it. I mean,
right. Exactly. No, I agree.
yeah. I mean, it's not something that's going to like absolutely change someone's life, help them get a job, blah, 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 blah.
Like so many movies though have that
Yeah.
prom king and queen scene in there,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
it's such a big deal for everybody
Yeah.
if, they don't win or if they do.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
was never one, but in all reality, we're all kings and queens.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been okay if I didn't win. I mean, I would have been very happy for whoever of my friends won. So,
Now you're just the queen of the podcast, so
oh, I don't think of myself like that, but thank you.
you're welcome.
Harley and Mindy encourage Liz to host Jingle Ball for the class reunion that year. And I loved that they did that.
I agree.
Yeah. And we'll get into the Jingle Ball a little bit later because that was a fun scene. I'm not going to lie. I really enjoyed it. Naomi and Liz, they are at Naomi's house, and Liz is working on the DIY menorah. And then they go on talking about Chris. Naomi might think that he's the one, and Liz is like, well, you've only gone on one date with him. You really don't know him that well. And, Naomi's like, well, I've known him for 20 years or so. I'm
Um,
like,
Not all of
yeah.
the 20 years.
I mean, from afar.
Exactly.
Yeah. She really only knows him from a distance.
Yes.
I think I'm with Liz on this one. What about
Yeah,
you?
I'm on Liz's side.
I mean, Chris is a good guy, but I would need to go on more than just one date to classify it as the one, or
Same.
classify him as the one.
Same.
Yeah. Liz and Carly at the school planning for Jingle Ball and why Carly cheated. She felt like she had to be queen. Who would she be without it? And Liz feels that way about her company and success. And the theme for the Jingle Ball is early 2000s. Frosted lip gloss, lace up jeans, bedazzled everything.
Do you remember the bedazzler?
Oh, yep.
What
Do
did
I?
you have bedazzled?
I had a couple of limited to bedazzled belts.
Okay. I'm trying
Or
to think
one,
of
yeah.
what I bedazzled. It was probably denim.
I think I had a couple bedazzled pairs of jeans. Yeah.
It was the thing. Like the
Mm-hmm.
commercials with bedazzler. I
Yeah, I don't
mean,
know if I ever actually had a bedazzler of my own, but I do know that I bought things that were already bedazzled from
dazzled.
Limited To or Claire's. Those were my favorite stores when I
It's
was a kid.
it's funny when you can still find things that are
Yep.
bedazzled
Yep.
to this
And
day. It's
I've said this before on another episode. I don't know if I've told you this, but when I went to the High School Musical concert in seventh grade, my outfit, okay, the fashion back then in late 2006. So the concert was December 2006, I believe. Iron-ons were a big thing, and I had a short sleeve white shirt with iron-on High School Musical on the front. And then on the back, I had an iron-on of the album cover. And then under the white short sleeve shirt, I had a long sleeve red shirt that I wore. And then, of course, I wore jeans. And I had a matching red beaded necklace, earrings, and bracelet from Claire's, like the big ball
oh my goodness.
jewelry.
Yeah.
And I think I had a headband too. I think my headband was red, like one of those wide strapped headbands.
hmm
And then I think I wore a pair of Keds for the shoes. And I had a sequined belt that was silver from Limited To, and it was one of those ones that sheds really bad.
Oh my gosh.
And I chose not to put it through the belt loops. I put it over my shirt.
That was a thing for a minute. People wearing belts without using, like for the waistband
Yep.
with the belt loops. That
I wish
was,
I had the picture on me because I would literally show it right now.
you should show it later. That's hilarious.
Yes.
Looks like we both have pictures to show.
I just, every time I look at that picture, I think to myself, what in the world was I thinking?
See, if nothing else, this movie has brought us memories of back in the day. And I think maybe that was the whole idea now.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. The Hanukkah celebration at Liz's house, and this is when Liz catches Chris eating lox, which isn't a vegetable, it's a certain type of fish. And I think Liz calls him a pescatarian, which is what he actually is. No.
I still find it hilarious. The fish scene.
Yep. And then Liz confronts Naomi about that and, you know, tells her that he's lying. And then when Liz starts singing, "Oh, Christmas tree," oh, Chris, like when he walks up, that I'm not gonna lie was hilarious.
I like that part too.
Yeah. Mimi fixed the holiday card, but Liz is in the corner and her eyes are closed. Could she not have found a better picture of Liz? Honestly,
Thank you for mentioning that. I'm sure there was a better one than the eyes closed picture. Come on.
I mean, yeah. I did enjoy when Liz gave the speech about the meaning of Hanukkah and everyone singing the song. I thought that was nice. And I love that they threw in a little bit of diversity with not just Christmas, but Hanukkah as well.
Yeah, just like I said, I think this season on Hallmark is different in the fact that they're not only celebrating other cultures, but also kind of bringing to light
And other holidays.
yeah, like holidays and other like real life
Mm-hmm.
situations.
Yeah. Liz gets a call from the VC firm and they have considered the offer, but decided not to give funding. Boo. They want to buy Best Pal instead. And Liz doesn't want to sell the company, and Naomi thinks they should consider it to try something new. What side were you on in this?
Um, I'm always on the side where they continue to work with the existing business that they have, not like
Yeah.
sell it and start something all over
Mm-hmm.
again. I
Yeah.
think anything can be fixed
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or improved on.
Yeah. I can see both sides, I guess. I mean, you can't go wrong with trying something new, but then, like you said, I mean, they could have tried to make it work with Best Pal.
I would say give it one more shot, and if it
Yeah.
didn't work, then try again.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Chris and Naomi have dinner together, and Chris mentions this could be something real and doesn't want it to end. Naomi feels it too. They talk about trying long distance for a while, and if it works, one of them could potentially move. He would consider going to California, but thinks it could make more sense for her to move back to Weston. What did you think of this whole conversation?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how I can put it into terminology. Um, I don't know.
It's tough. It's a
I
tough situation.
It is a tough situation. You almost wanted it to work for them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like do the long distance thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also too realize how hard it was going to be for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's wishy-washy for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Same for me. I think there could be pros and cons to either way.
Yeah, I think there's pros a lot more maybe cons than pros.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And this is when Chris sneaks a bite of the salmon when he thinks no one is looking.
Okay. Let's talk about facial expressions. Um,
Tyler Himes. He was like, oh.
um, the Heine's minds went wild in that scenario.
Oh
And I
my
know there
gosh.
were a couple memes about it that were thrown around.
Oh Lord.
Um, yeah, we're just gonna leave it there with that because, oh gosh, it was hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Only, only he could bring those facial expressions to life.
Yeah, he did a great job. Fantastic job. Oh. Naomi and Liz at Pretty Baked and Carly's store. This is when they're talking about the company, and Naomi mentions that Liz could go back to school and get her master's from Stanford. And Naomi has been wanting to do something else for a while. They also run into Chris at the clothing store, and Chris wants to be with her, but thinks that Naomi does not want to be with him. I kind of felt bad for Tyler in this scene.
Same. Maybe that was
Yeah.
the whole idea of it.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want to be with Chris?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Me over here with a pouty face.
Yeah. I mean, he had his moments in this movie, but he's a good guy.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Naomi and Liz pick up the dresses for the Jingle Ball and then have a talk about Chris and voicemail. And Naomi mentions that she might have realized she didn't know him as well as she thinks she does. And she is a little annoyed that Liz never called her back after the voicemail. And Liz is like, what is this, 2012? Who uses their voicemail? I do.
I use my voicemail.
This was a facepalm line.
Yes, I agree.
I was like, some people still use their voicemail here.
I'm one of them.
Yep. I did like the scene when they're at the school decorating for the Jingle Ball. And the part that made me laugh is when Carly shows Liz the Jingle Bell crown that her mom found and mentions if Chris could find his, they could be king and queen again. And Carly's like, or would that be childish or self actualized? And Chris is like, is there a difference? I think I have to agree with Chris on this. I think it's a little of
There
both.
is no difference at all.
Nope. It is a little childish.
I
It
agree.
is a little childish. Uh, the part I really appreciated was Naomi and Chris having a chat, and he apologizes for earlier and acting like a teenager.
Good move.
He still wants to be friends and keep in touch and share cat gifs or DMs or memes in DMs.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, this was another scene that bothered me, and it is when Naomi and Linda are at home. And I did like the first part when Naomi walks in and they're talking about the Christmas movie. It's the one where the secret prince turns out to be Santa's long lost son come back in time. And this is the part that bothered me when Linda brings up that she found a real estate agent in Palo Alto to help them find a house to move in together. And without telling her daughter,
Yeah, I found that a little odd part there. Um,
like crossing
really
the
awkward.
boundary there.
Yeah, very awkward.
Yeah. And of course, Naomi is not happy at all.
Would you
I,
be?
no,
Neither would I.
no. I mean, I live at home now, but if I were on my own, yeah, I'd
I
probably
agree.
feel the same way. Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
And then the fight with Naomi and Liz, that was tough.
Sad.
Naomi feels like Liz doesn't listen to her in reference to buying a dress she didn't want, going to Jingle Ball, going back to the past. She doesn't want a redo on her life. And then they talk about Liz getting into Stanford. She didn't go because Naomi's dad had just passed and she didn't want her to be alone. Naomi doesn't believe she did it for her. Liz disagrees because she gave Naomi half of her company and carried her. And Naomi says, well, if you carried me, it's only because you couldn't walk alone, because I was your only friend.
Oh my
Ouch.
gosh.
That was a little
It's so
harsh.
sad.
It's a little
Like,
harsh.
harsh and sad. Who does that to their friend?
I
You don't
know.
say things like that.
No. And Liz says, I always thought our friendship was the greatest gift I've ever received, but maybe we're just holding each other back. And Liz decides she wants to sell the company.
I feel it. Boo.
Okay, this part made me laugh when Liz gives her mom next year's Hanukkah card, and this time Mimi's eyes are closed. Karma!
Payback. I was gonna say payback.
Karma! Naomi and her mom also apologized and worked things out. Then talk about Liz and the Jingle Ball. I did love this line from Linda, and she says, and just because you both need to grow doesn't mean you have to grow apart.
Yeah, I really do think that that was probably one of the best quotes of the whole film.
I think so too. Yeah. And we get to the final scene of the movie with the Jingle Ball. What did you think about the Jingle Ball?
It looked fun.
Yeah.
I like the Jingle Ball.
Yes.
And Janelle Parrish, what a lucky duck.
Yeah. I don't know that I would go to a Jingle Ball slash Christmas high school reunion, but it did look fun. I would go to a high school reunion if it were any other time, but around the holidays,
Not for a Jingle Ball.
yeah, I would be spending time with family. So, I mean, nothing against Jingle Balls. I'm sure
Hmm.
they're fun, but
Yeah.
I would much rather be spending time with my family
No, I
for
second
Christmas.
that.
Yeah.
I guess I just didn't I thought maybe like the scene itself looked fun.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, the scene itself and the ball itself looked like a lot of fun.
Mhm.
If it were in January, then yeah, I would probably go.
There you go.
I mean, you can have a jingle ball in January. I mean, it's still wintertime.
I mean, Hallmark does do Christmas in July, so why not a
Yeah.
Jingle Ball in January
Or July. Yeah.
or July?
Yeah. Chris and Liz have a talk about the decorations and Naomi. And Chris says, a blast from the past. It should come with a trigger warning.
Oh my goodness.
I did love this quote from him when he says, I think sometimes things need to change. Can't keep living our lives clinging to what we used to be.
That's absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yes.
because where would we be if we didn't have any
Yeah.
sense of change at all?
Yeah. Very true.
You know, or didn't change, progress, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Yeah. Chris and Naomi have a talk, and she lets him know she wants to try to make things work. And of course, they agree and they share a kiss. And I think they share a dance too, although I don't think we see it, but that's okay. And Liz gives a speech, which Carly interrupts to let her know she doesn't care about being Jingle Ball Queen again. She says, the truth is, I don't care about any of it at all because I realized I don't need a redo. And Liz agrees, which I thought that was a nice moment.
It was a nice, happy touch to the
Yes.
movie.
Yep. And we ended off with Naomi and Liz working things out. Liz says, even if I had the chance to redo my life over 1,000 times, I wouldn't change anything to be your friend.
I love that.
That was very
That's
sweet.
so sweet.
Yeah. Yes. And the last part of the Jingle Ball, we see everyone dancing and having a good time, which I loved.
Same here.
Yeah. Moving into our ratings segment, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate the plot and script?
I would say 6.5 or 7.
I gave it 6.5 out of 10. That's fair.
Right on the same page.
Yes, just based on some things that we talked about
I
in the
agree.
movie. Yeah. For chemistry.
I would say that's up there. It's
Yeah.
an 8 or a 9.
I gave it an 8.
See, look at us. Almost right
Christmas
on.
feels.
Hey, this was not planned.
No, this is not planned at all. No. Christmas feels.
No, that's kind of lower on the scale. 3.5
Yeah.
to 4,
I was a little
maybe 5.
higher. I gave it a 6.
Okay, I would 3.5, 4. I would say anywhere between 3.5 and 6.
Yeah. Yeah. Not too much, but I did enjoy the Christmas feels that we did get.
Like the ugly Christmas sweater. I mean, that's a feel in itself. So,
Yes. Yep.
especially with a wool coat on, feeling hot.
Yes. Yep. And it looked like they were drinking eggnog, I think, at some
I th
point
yes, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Wasn't it
with red and green
ready?
sprinkles around the
Yes.
glass.
Yes.
And overall, what would you rate the movie?
I'm gonna give this one an just because I'm a hiney. I'll go with an
Mhm.
8.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I gave it a little bit lower, mainly just because of the parts in the script that I didn't really care for that bothered me. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. But nothing against the cast, Tyler, Janelle, Pascal, the writer,
I
Joy.
Yeah, I chose the 8 because I think all of the actors did really, really well.
Yeah.
The girls had really great chemistry as
Yeah.
friends. And then Tyler and Pascal had really good
Hmm.
chemistry as well as with Janelle. So I think that's probably another reason why we're gonna
Yeah.
rate it, an 8.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. I mean, that's totally okay. Yeah. I love Tyler and Janelle and Pascal and the whole cast. I think they did a fantastic job. Just the script didn't quite hit the mark for me,
I agree.
which is unfortunate because I really wanted to absolutely love this movie, but I didn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily consider it one of my favorites yet. My favorite Tyler Hines movie is
Hmm.
not a lot of other people's favorite. So I think someone's gonna find this to be one of their favorite movies.
Yeah. I mean, I
I think
totally respect everyone's opinion, even if I
same,
don't agree. Yeah.
same.
What is your favorite Tyler Hines movie that is Hallmark non Christmas and Christmas?
I love Roadhouse Romance. That's one of my very
Yeah.
favorites. Obviously, It Was Always You. That's another one, but that one's,
Yes.
Hallmark does play that one a lot, but I think, Roadhouse Romance really kind of
Hmm.
hit it in the right note for me. And
Yeah.
I've met both Lauren Elena and Tyler Hines in real life.
I have too.
Oh, that's so
I
cool.
met Lauren
Um,
too. Very
yeah, so
sweet.
they're both really, really good good
Yeah.
people in general. I don't know. I just really kind of relate with the movie. I
Yeah.
like the characters. I think it's great. Some people
Yeah.
are like, "Oh, the chemistry's off." But I'm like, I don't think so.
No.
As far as favorite Christmas movie with Tyler, I would say I love, love, love Time for Him to Come Home for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a fan of like the mystery like novels, like
Yes.
Nancy Drew and all that. I just
Yeah.
love the mystery behind it. And I
Yeah.
think that was the best one out of all of the Blake Shelton series.
I think so too. I have to agree with that. That was the best one from the series so
Yeah, and
far.
the chemistry between
Yeah.
Holland and Tyler was
Mm-hmm.
really, really on point. And the
Yeah.
storyline was, I mean, I cry every single time that movie is on.
Yeah. Same.
It's
Yeah.
heartwarming and
It is.
just
Yeah.
good. It's so
Yes.
good.
Yeah. I
And Tennille
agree.
Townes is in there. I love
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yes. Yep. Totally agree. I think that is probably up there for favorite Christmas movies from Tyler. And I also love It's Christmas Eve, which I think was his first Hallmark movie.
It was the first one that aired, I believe.
Yeah.
But then we can't forget about Unexpected Christmas, which
Yes.
is also really, really good chemistry between
Yeah.
Bethany Joy Lenz and
Yeah.
him. I love that one. And
Yes.
obviously Paul Campbell wrote it. So
Yeah. Yep.
of course it's good.
Yep.
But yeah, I do like It's Christmas Eve. I actually have met Leanne Rimes as well in real life.
That's awesome.
So I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
why I relate
Yeah.
with these movies, but
Yeah.
I do like all the Tyler Hines Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Really, there's not one Tyler Hines movie I don't like.
Yeah.
You
True.
know, you
Yeah.
always find
Yeah.
something.
I love the very last scene in It's Christmas Eve when he goes to her house and she has the
She
cup of
spills on
coffee
him.
in her hand. And he's like, "Is this hot?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Finally."
That's one of my favorite parts of the whole movie. I thought they played really good part together, and I
Yeah, they
like
had
that
great
that the
chemistry.
song got finished by him.
Yes. Yeah. They have great
Um,
chemistry.
it was cute. I liked
Yeah.
it.
And non Christmas movies from Tyler. That's a tough one. I think I'm gonna have to say It Was Always You.
Yeah, that's in my top five.
Yeah.
I really, really like that. I love the chemistry between him and Aaron.
Yes.
But also the storyline.
Yeah.
Just and I don't know. I like everything about it. I always
Yeah.
find parts in the movie that just make me
Yeah.
laugh every single time.
Yeah.
Like the postage stamp scene
Mm-hmm.
is it just always makes me crack
Yes.
up. And then
Yeah.
every time you see George on the dance floor with the dental hygienist and the way he waves, I can never think of him any different than being George. So I'm always
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
he'll always be George.
Yeah.
Anything Giles Panton is in, he's gonna always be
He's
George.
fantastic. Yeah, he's fantastic. But there are a lot of great Tyler Hines movies. But
I
that's
agree.
just one of my top favorites.
Heine's for life.
Yeah. I've already said this before, but I think going back to Never Been Kissed, just to wrap things up, even though it didn't quite live up to what I was hoping it would be, and it was kind of middle of the road, I did enjoy some parts of the movie and think
Yes.
that the cast did a great job.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. A lot of the quotes in there were fantastic.
Yeah.
The chemistry was great. There's always highlights, and
Yeah.
really, come on, let's bring it back to that fish scene again, and what great acting that was.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I can't get over that part.
Oh my gosh. Well, this was so much fun, Kimberly. Thank you for joining me for this movie review. I had a great time.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for having me. I always appreciate you having me on. So,
Of course.
I had a great time.
Of course. And I will definitely have you back on to chat about maybe more of these Christmas movies coming up soon.
Sounds great. I'm so excited to seeing some of the newer ones. So,
same. Me too. All right, Hallmarkies, I think that wraps up our review of Never Been Kissed. If you enjoyed this episode, you can like this video and share your thoughts on the movie in the comments. If you want to stay up to date on all of my movie reviews, you can subscribe to this channel and make sure to turn on the bell so you are alerted when new episodes come. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a great day or night wherever you are in the world. And we hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday with your family.
Happy
Bye.
Thanksgiving.